We'd like to thank Montecito Bank and Trust for their generous support in making Scam Squad possible. I'm Patty Teal.
And I'm Deputy District Attorney Vicki Johnson. Scam Squad is up next.
Sound off.
1, 2.
Sound off.
3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Scam Squad.
Welcome to Scam Squad. I'm Patty Teal, here as always with Deputy District Attorney Vicki Johnson, who keeps us appraised of the latest scams in Santa Barbara. Welcome, Vicki.
Hi, Patty. Good to be here. So, Patty, the Federal Trade Commission has come out with the top tech scams of 2022. And of course, these are still going on in 2023. And there's definitely some things our listeners need to know. So I thought I would share these. Apparently, scammers love text scams because texting is cheap and easy. And many people love to text. And so that pinging sound is something that's very hard for them to ignore. They get addicted.
You know, it's so true, Vicki. If I hear that I have a text that's come in, I'm curious to see what it is. And so I check it right away.
Absolutely. Scammers count on this and also on the speed of texting. People are trained to respond quickly to a text without really taking the time to analyze the content. And most of the texts coming from scammers involve one of two things, either a reward or a prize or a serious problem.
Right. None of them are good. And what did the FTC identify as the most common scams that we need to watch out for these days?
So, Patty, the first one they talk about is called the Copycat Bank Fraud Prevention Alert. Now, that is quite a mouthful, but these have to do with texts that impersonate banks, and we've seen these all the time. I've actually gotten these. The texts pretend to be from a bank, saying things like, well, this is Wells Fargo alert. Did you attempt to purchase at Walmart for $1,263? Reply yes or no. Now, I've gotten these. But once you reply, either way, yes or no, you're going to get a phone call from someone impersonating a bank employee. And the employee, of course, is going to offer to help you get your money back. But instead, somehow money gets transferred out of your account.
Wow. So the scammer is pretending to be someone from the bank trying to protect you from a scam. Very clever. And I can see how easy that would be to fall for.
I know, it's just diabolical, isn't it? And worse yet,
Yes.
people who get these phone calls also give out their personal information, like their social security number, to supposedly identify themselves. And so now that lets the scammers engage in some identity theft.
What other tech scams made the top of the list?
Well, the next one they call the bogus little gift scam. And this is one I really didn't know about. So here's how it works. You may get a text about a free gift coming from a company that you know, like maybe your cell phone company or a big retailer. For example, you might get something supposedly from AT&T saying, December bill paid, thanks, here's a little gift, Happy New Year. But if you click on the link, in order to get the gift, you have to pay a small shipping fee. And now you have given the scammer your credit card information.
Oh, you know, that happens so often. I get sucked in by those too. And then, as you said, you have to pay a small shipping fee. I usually back out at that time, and it's a good thing that I do. But that free gift does lure me in the first place.
Absolutely.
What else?
So, Patty, the next popular scam is the fake package delivery problem. And I think that we have talked about this before. So many of us use Amazon these days that we are often expecting a package of some kind. The scammers, of course, know this and they take advantage. So you might get a text pretending to be from U.S. Postal Service, FedEx, UPS, saying that there's a problem with delivery. And they link to a website that looks real, but it isn't. So they might ask you to pay a small redelivery fee, which once again is just a trick to get your credit card number and sometimes also your personal information.
So frightening just how quickly scammers catch on to our typical ways of operating in the world and then manage to turn that into an opportunity to scam us.
I know, it's just incredible. And here's another one, the phony job offer. And again, I think we've touched on this a little bit. Scammers promise easy money for what they call mystery shopping at well-known stores like Whole Foods or Walmart, or they might offer money to drive around with your car wrapped in ads. But you often have to pay some upfront costs in order to get this job or get your car wrapped. And the scammers, of course, will send you a fake check, which initially seems to clear to cover these costs, but of course it turns out that the check is fake and it later bounces. In the meanwhile, you have already sent the money and an application for the job, which contains lots of your personal information.
Wow. And so many people are looking for part-time work from home opportunities, and these offers would be so very tempting.
That's right. Now, the last kind of fraud they talk about, they call the not really from Amazon security alert. Once again, kind of a mouthful. And we've talked about these quite a bit. These Amazon scams were rampant for a while. It seems like everybody was getting one of these texts.
Can you remind us again how this particular scam works?
Sure. So you get a text from somebody who says they are from Amazon, and they look like fraud prevention messages. They might say something like transaction update. Your account is being debited for iPhone 14 in the amount of $599. Not you? Call Amazon at this number, and they give you conveniently the number. And of course, if you call that number, you get a phony Amazon rep who offers to fix your account. And they will often ask for remote access to your phone so they can get things fixed and give you a refund. But then the rep says that a couple of zeros were accidentally added to the funds that they're refunding to you. So they need you to return that money to them, and they encourage you to do it by buying gift cards and giving them the card's PIN number on the back.
Oh, yeah. Those are always a scam. But what should you do if you get one of those messages?
Well, you can actually report the message. You can forward the message, and I didn't know this. You can forward the message to 7726, which spells out spam. And this helps your provider spot the scams and block similar messages. And you can also report it to reportfraud.ftc.gov.
Yeah, I didn't know either that we could forward that to 7726. That's really important to know. And how can we avoid these text scams?
Well, again, as we've talked about, never click on links or respond to unexpected texts. If you think it might be legit, contact the company using a phone number that you know is the real phone number. Don't use the information that they give you in the text message because that's phony. And secondly, filter unwanted texts before they reach you. Contact your carrier because most carriers have ways of blocking suspected scam or spam messages. Ask that if they have a way of blocking these spam calls. So also, Patty, as a follow-up to our show last week where we talked about IRS scams, I wanted to share this new one that I'm just learning about. And again, I had not heard about this before, but I thought it was timely since we did talk about IRS scams. The IRS is warning us to be on the lookout for a new scam mailing that tries to mislead people into believing that they are owed a refund. So they send by mail, by delivery service, a box with a physical letter in the cardboard envelope. It's one of those cardboard envelopes that you get official looking documents in. And inside there is a letter that has the IRS logo and wording to the effect that this is notice about your unclaimed refund.
So they've managed to make it look very official and important communication from the IRS. At this point, are there red flags?
Lots and lots of red flags, thankfully. So one of the things they're going to do is request a photo of your driver's license. Now, why they would want that, I don't know. But apparently there is an awkwardly worded request for, and I quote, a clear phone of your driver's license that clearly displays all four angles, taken in a place with good
Oh.
lighting. Okay, so why they would want that, and the wording is so awkward. And also the letter apparently contains some very odd punctuation and also some very strange wording. So here's one of the messages that's in this letter. You'll need to get this to get your refunds after filing. These must be given to a filing agent who will help you submit your unclaimed property claim. And on and on. So if you actually look carefully at the letter, it's not written by anybody from the IRS. It is clearly a scam, and you need to disregard it completely. And you can actually, if you'd like, report it to the IRS and let them know that you got one of these messages.
Wow. That's just so much great information though, Vicki. And I just wanted to mention, you know how lately this summer there have been so many problems with flights being canceled. And we have talked about the phony websites before, but so often people are just in a panic. And of course, when we act quickly and we're in a panic, bad things can happen. And they've been calling what they think is the airline that has had problems with the flight, but they get a fake website, and then they sometimes get all sorts of problems. And of course, the airline wants more money to book them on another flight, and it's just all phony. So you can't go to just Google a website and expect that it's legitimate. You really need to go to the official company's website.
Absolutely. And that's with anything, any company, any service. Google tech support. I mean, you have to be careful about all of these services that you're actually getting the legitimate website.
But I'm still hanging on to that hope that you said last week or the week before that people are getting more savvy.
I believe that's true. I believe that's true, Patty.
There are more scams, but people are getting more savvy, and they're a little harder to trick.
That's right. And as Art tells us, when it comes to fraud, vigilance is our number one weapon. So you have the power to protect yourself and others from scams if you just get the correct information.
Right. Well, thank you, V. That was great information. And is there any good news to share today?
You know, I thought I would share this because I think this really is good news. And once again, this is a service that is offered by AARP. And they call it VOA REST, R-E-S-T. VOA stands for Volunteers of America, and REST stands for Resilience, Strength, and Time. This is a free program that offers emotional support for people who have been affected by a scam or a fraud. You can sign up for REST sections online. They're an hour long. They're confidential. They're in small groups, led by trained peer facilitators. And it's a way of healing from the devastation and the trauma of getting scammed.
Right.
So it's a way to just remember that you're not alone. And it's a way to address the emotional impact of your experience. So it is a wonderful program, and having been a part of a support group myself on another issue, I can attest to the value of these support groups and how just hearing from other people and their experiences can be a very healing experience. So I thought this was a wonderful service, once again, offered by AARP.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful, because just from talking to people that have been scammed or even near scams, it really can destroy a person's confidence. And we've talked about they can become depressed and anxious. So it's great that there's help for people who have been taken advantage of in that way.
And I wanted to give the site. It's aarp.org, O-R-G, /fraud support. So aarp.org, O-R-G, /fraud support.
Right. And please, if you find this information useful, please subscribe to either YouTube channel, or if you prefer to, you can find Scam Squad on your favorite podcast platform. And Vicki, if somebody wants to warn others because of a scam that they know about, or if they need help because they've been scammed, what is your fraud hotline number?
It is area code 805-568-2442, 805-568-2442. 2442, and I invite you to call.
Thank you, Vicki. Have a great rest of your week. I can't wait to find out what you have to tell us next week.
Thanks, Patty.
Okay, take care.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.